To the Board of Selectmen meeting. To start, we're going to get our Pledge of Allegiance first. Pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. As a reminder, we're recording this on via Zoom, and we also are transmitting via our cable channel 12?
WCAT
6. 12, channel 6, so you know. If somebody would like to record it, let us know. We're recording it so because of this goes into social media, and so everybody, if you would like to talk, direct to the board, say your name, if you're from town or aboard, so they can recognize you, via the video. It's easier also for the newspaper to, name people who's talking and who says who. All right, so to start, we have, this is the public hearing?
Public hearing. Mm-hmm.
For performance hearing regarding the town ongoing FY 2022-23 Community Development Block Grant Program.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, we have a gentleman, John O'Leary from CMRPC, here this evening, is going to make a presentation and conduct a hearing.
Very good. Come on up.
Come on up, John.
Come on up, so the mic can pick you up better.
Okay. Sit down. Is that right here? Good evening. Good to see everyone again. So I just want to take. I am John O'Leary from the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. Here tonight to conduct a performance hearing of the grant. Just a brief background on the program. With the assistance of the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, the town of Warren received a fiscal year 2022-23 grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development through the Massachusetts Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities Community Development Block Grant. The total value of the grant was $1,197,000. It included the direct project costs, including engineering oversight and construction admin, as well as project management and grant administration. So the purpose of tonight's hearing, it's mandatory. As part of the grant requirements, has us describe a summary of the activities that were funded through the grant and an opportunity for questions or comments from the public. Tonight's hearing will also discuss the potential reprogramming of FY21 CDBG funds. So we're also seeking the public input and also the approval from the Board of Selectmen. So I will just start with the two activities that were funded through the FY22-23 program, and that included School Street Improvement Project Phase 2. So just a brief background on that. This project came to fruition over years of related projects, starting with around 2010, a comprehensive infrastructure planning study of the entire School Street neighborhood. Several streets include School Street, Bridgerton, Prospect, and to name a few, Quabog was another big one. And then through an FY21 CDBG grant program, Phase 1 of School Street, which included water main replacement, as well as a retainage wall. That portion of the project's been completed, which then led us to Phase 2. Phase 2 includes rehabilitating the road and sidewalk, and also the installation of new drainage, which did not exist prior to this project, as well as a limited sewer realignment to improve the overall flow of the system. So to date, the projects began construction in May, and to date, all subsurface utility work, including drainage and sewage, as well as the road's base layer pavement has been installed, so that's all completed. Contractors currently working on installing the sidewalk. They started at the bottom of School Street and worked their way up. And that is expected to be completed around early to middle of next month. From there, in coordination with Jeremy the highway superintendent. The contractor will have the final project paved probably in the fall, early fall, is what we're hoping for. The second activity that was funded through this grant is the Town Common Improvement Project. So this is going to be a design project that will hire a qualified design consultant to complete boundary and topographic surveys, develop concepts for site improvements, and design, prepare plans and specifications to enhance the historic property and provide additional recreational opportunities for residents in town. So right now, that request for qualifications is going to be advertised starting next week. And CMRPC is working with the town to hire a consultant, and that's in progress right now. So we're hoping to get someone under contract and begin the work probably late summer, early fall. And there'll be plenty of opportunity for public participation in that process. So we'll make sure everyone's informed once that we have selected a qualified firm. And then lastly, just to discuss the potential of reprogramming the remaining FY21 CDBG funds. So as of right now, there is approximately $18,000 and potentially some administrative budget that we'd like to reprogram to address two critical items and need of improvements at the senior center. One of them being repairing the existing hatchway, and then also installing a new rear exit doorway. So again, this hearing is to provide input from the public on that, as well as the Board of Selectmen's approval. So I'm not sure if there's any comments about any of the presented information from public or.
Not there yet.
Peter?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rich, there.
No, I don't think so. I guess, just one question. If we're gonna reprogram, are we doing that tonight? Or is that something that will come up later?
So there is a process that we have to go through the state to formally get it approved.
Okay.
But I think initially, before we go ahead and do that, we'd like to make sure the board is on board with that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I don't have any other questions. I think, these are good projects. It's upgrading neighborhoods. The town common, I'm, interested in seeing what happens with that, so.
Yeah, very good. Jimmy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank CMRPC for the hard work that they've put in putting this together for us. It's been a pleasure to work with John and Chris together on these projects. As you may recall, at the time of town meeting, we had asked the voters to put aside some additional money to address some of the issues at the senior center. Two of them being the bulkhead at the senior center, and as well as that exit door there. That project and putting those away. Those were articles. If this is approved tonight, we will not have to use that money that was that was put together at town meeting. So that will go back into the general fund at some point. So we will not have to use that money. So we're always looking of ways that if a project is running under budget, which is what we like to see projects run under budget, to reprogram every last penny that we can so that we can get a full value of anything. This particular hearing tonight is critical that, if we were to get this approved by the selectmen tonight, that we could potentially reprogram this money into that project, get that done down there, and not have to use the money that was allocated at town meeting. So I fully support this concept and all of this, and working with John and Chris on this. I think it's a good use of the excess money.
Incredible what you guys are doing, especially for the pockets for the residents. If we can get that money, it would be nice. Don't forget to keep track of that, things that we did like this. Peter?
Hi there. I live at 21 School Street. I have some concerns. I brought up some of them with Jim. I understand they had to recut the grade on my road to make it pitch to water. But when I approached the contractor and asked him about my utilities being under code now, because I dropped the ground 20 inches, He said, yes, it is, but it's not our fault because we're following the plans. He said the town approved the plans, but my utilities are just below the surface now because they lowered the grade of the road. And he blamed it totally on you. I just want you to know. He says it's not my responsibility, which I understand. He says I'm following the plans, but the plans don't correct when they lower the road 20 inches, that now the utility that was 3 feet under is just over a foot under. And I have concerns about my utilities. I'm not saying all three are, but I know at least two of them are very close. If not, he agreed with me, they're probably not to code. I have another concern. In front of my house, I have a spot that I put trash buckets for the last 40 years. And they're recutting the curb in front of my house because they dropped the ground 20 inches. I don't want a curb there where I put my trash bucket. It needs to be able to be close to the street. I can't put it in front of my driveway because of the wind from the church. I live in a tunnel between my house and the church, and the wind will just blow it right over. There's nothing to strap it to in the middle of the driveway. So I need a spot 4 feet wide in front of my house, which I had there before this project. I had cement blocks there so I could set my buckets on. So I'm asking if the town could make sure when they put the berm down the street, they stay enough room to put buckets there. And that's all I ask on that. And I had an incident with my sewer pipe. And I'm putting together a bill just for the cleaning supplies. Okay, that's it. I haven't had any other issues other than it's probably gonna be about $100 for the cleaning supplies. You know, and I figured it out, it was about 200 gallons of water I used. So the guy offered to give me a month's supply of water for free, but I'm not asking for that. I want you to know that. He did. Tony, the contractor, said that. He said, run your water for several hours and see if that'll clear it. And I ran for an hour and nothing happened, but it was going into Peastone. That's why it did it. So I'm putting together a list that I'll send to Jim in another week. I have to get some new markers and stuff. But that was all my biggest concern was in front of my house. I know they have to do some grading there, but the utility, there was one other concern. I was there when my sewer line, when they discovered the main sewer line in front of my house in the middle of the road was broken. They didn't break it. I'm not blaming them for it. And I put it right into you last year about this. The way they fixed it, they took a piece of plastic pipe, cut it in half, threw it on top of the broken sewer pipe in the road, the cast iron pipe, and just threw cement on top of it. It's not a proper fix. I want you to know. That's how they fixed it. And it's still that way to this day. So, despite what anybody says, they have pictures of it. Bill Driscoll, that was the on-site engineer, took pictures of how this was repaired. It was not repaired properly. I just make you aware of it. Sure, it'll last, but roots can get in. It's like that. So, but that's how they fixed it. So, other than that, no, that's all I have to say right now. Just to make you're not there. I live there, so I see what's going on. So.
CMR, you have something to respond to him? Or?
Yeah, I mean, one of those items in particular where you're locating your barrels, I think we can work with, the contractor will work with you on that. And Jim's been pretty good, Jim's been very good with sharing the complaints that you have, and we've been discussing that with the engineer as well as the contractor, so this isn't new information. You know, and most of those things we can resolve.
Right, and that's why if I don't say it to your face, in writing it didn't seem like it got enough response. Coming here and telling you that I've witnessed all these things, and things that I need, I would ask for, they're minor, I think they're minor things, but you should look into, the contractor shared this with me, said there were several other places on my street, they're below code on their utility lines. And they totally blamed it on you guys for your engineered plans. He said it's on the plans, and they okayed the plans, so we follow the plans, even though it isn't right. And I just telling you, you need to address those things on future projects and make sure you're clear. Are you following all the codes? Because they clearly are not. So.
Rich, do you have any?
I was just do you know anything about the, the utilities being closer to the surface?
We do have a meeting scheduled for next Friday, and that is a topic of our discussion. So we can have the engineer put together a formal response
Yeah,
to
that
those
would be good.
items.
Yeah,
Share, Jim, with the board of selectmen.
okay.
And I'm only speaking for myself, my house, you can look at the grade, I've sent Jim a picture of the grade from my house, it's dropped 20 inches. So unless you lower your utilities, and when they hit my sewer line, they said it was shallow. Those were their words, that when they hit it, because they expected it to be deeper and it wasn't. That's how come they thought it was just a drain pipe they broke on, so. Okay.
Jim, do you have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a brief comment. I did receive an email from Peter July 3rd with regards to these concerns, and I did forward them to Bill Storty, our project engineer from Weston and Sampson. He is aware of that. As John had mentioned, we are planning on having a meeting next Friday on site. Just a kind of okay, now that everything is kind of worked out, just kind of listening to some of the concerns that had rolled in through emails or phone calls or messages, in trying to work through some of the issues. On face value, I will tell you this. Bill Storty, who is the project engineer and the manager there, didn't seem to think that there was that much of an issue at this point. But he will address additional questions and comments next Friday. John, do we know what time is it? 9 a.m. next Friday. So we will be out there. I do, Peter, want to apologize for the incident that happened on that Saturday on behalf of the town. I was out there as well as Selectman Iacker was out there. And so we do apologize for that. Unfortunately, with projects like this magnitude, with old infrastructure, things are going to happen. But I want you and I want the public to know that we stand behind it. And, if there is an issue, if there's a problem, we're going to get to the bottom of it. And, though that's important, we're not going to not respond or not, give you the proper attention that you need.
And I have one more thing. I want to do a special thanks to Joyce, Richard's wife, because she was the one that made it happen when I needed to contact people. So I want to make sure she gets credit for that. So.
Okay. I let her know.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
I added to my calendar that meeting, so
Okay.
maybe I would like to make it, and yeah, Peter, we'll take care of it. I'll be there, and you're more than free to contact any of us, especially me, if you have any issue.
I know I can get a hold of this guy, so.
He's your first primary
That's right.
contact.
That's what I figured.
But
So.
if you get mad at him or mad at anybody else, talk to me. It's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do we need to do something for you tonight?
So we would need a vote from the board if they're okay with the reprogramming of this. I don't know if there's any more public comments that maybe we may want to solicit.
Let's check that out.
Yeah.
Any more public comments for this project and also for Zoom, if anybody is joining us?
Andrew Lowe?
Andrew, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can. Go
Great.
ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say I'm a colleague of John's at the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. I know I've met several folks on the board and Mr. Ferreira as well. And I just wanted to make sure that the record reflects a little bit more detail on the proposed project that would be part of this grant amendment, so that this can be reflected in the minutes. As John mentioned, this hearing is the first step in getting the grant amendment approved by the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. And these days, they sometimes like to hear a little bit more detail on projects than we were once allowed to pass along when we made these requests. So, John, can you give us like a 30-second summary more on the nature of the proposed activities, and maybe a little bit more on the proposed transfer from the administrative funds. I think when I spoke to Chris earlier, he thought perhaps 5 to 10,000 or something in that range. I think you said 18,000 for remaining funds from another line item. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. So the two items that we're looking to improve, one is that existing hatchway, and Jim.
If you wanted me to touch upon that.
Yeah,
I
sure,
could-
sure, yeah.
So these two projects in particular were identified when we were doing some updates last summer to the senior center. And the updates last summer were exterior siding, the gutters, new seamless gutters all around, new drainage, painting, some exterior improvements to our senior center. And while we were doing those improvements, it was noted that the bulkhead leading into the basement, which is a dirt basement, is corroding, has holes through it, is not airtight as it needs to be, and it needs a complete replacement, as well as to properly do some cement work that is required around the bulkhead as well to secure it in. So that was identified by a licensed general contractor that was doing work for us as a future project that we should probably look to get addressed sooner rather than later, as well as a door in the rear of the senior center that bottom is almost completely rusted out. It needs replacement. So those two items, need to be replaced. It was estimated, last summer that, to address those two issues could be estimated anywhere between, $10,000 to $12,000.
And I don't believe that estimate didn't include prevailing wage.
Did
correct?
not
Yeah,
include
so-
prevailing wage.
So it will be higher than that, just something to reflect. And then to Andrew's point, so we have $18,000 remaining in one line item from the School Street project. And then we are potentially looking at another 5 to 10 administrative costs that haven't been spent to also contribute to this amended. So those combined puts us in a ballpark around 25,000, gives us some flexibility in case some bids come in high, or should be more than sufficient to cover what we need to do with these two items.
Thank you. Is that good enough for you, sir?
Yes, sir, it is. Like I said, we have found that the state likes a little more detail these days, so I think that's perfect.
Okay, good to hear that.
Thanks all.
Any other comments from the public? So, Rich, why don't we make a motion for proposed programming of FY21 Warren CDBG program funding?
Okay, so I'll make a motion to reprogram the available FY21 CDBG grant funds of approximately $18,000 to address two issues at the senior center, repairing the existing hatchway and installing a new rear doorway and any associated work that goes along with that.
Do we have a second?
You got a second?
Second? All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion passes. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have the fire chief monthly report.
Good evening, everybody. Adam LaVoy, Fire Chief.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me in this evening. For the monthly report for the Fire Department, June 2024, responded to 36 fire-related calls, 4 motor vehicle accidents, 9 medical assists, 3 activated alarms, 4 calls that were false or canceled, 4 service calls, 1 structure fire, 2 mutual aid calls, 1 vehicle fire, 3 gas emergencies, 2 power line incidents, 2 investigations, and 1 good intent call. The ambulance responded to 70 calls in June of 2024. 14 ALS intercepts were required for those calls. We conducted 7 smoke and carbon monoxide inspections for homes that were transferring hands or new homes that were built. 2 propane tank inspections. In June, Warren EMS held a training on special and high acuity emergencies, and Warren fire personnel trained on 2 pieces of equipment that were obtained from a recent firefighter safety state grant. That was a grant that we put in for. One of them was for a new battery/electric ventilation fan, which is a state-of-the-art piece of equipment, as well as what's called a blitz fire suppression nozzle, which is something that's what we refer to as a ground monitor for a large fire, for a leaking propane tank, things that could be dangerous for a firefighter to get too close. This is a stationary nozzle that can be placed in the ground, and it basically holds itself to the surface and can spray nozzle from a distance, spray water from a distance without allowing or requiring the firefighters to get too close to an unsafe condition. A tank rupture or something like that. So these are 2 pieces of equipment that has been great to add to our arsenal of what we already have. We now have electric fans on both of our primary engines, which is awesome. This is the first battery-powered fan and electric-powered fan. The battery technology is really improved over the years. A lot of the tools that the fire service uses in general are now battery in nature. And this fan is like that. It runs off of 2 large DeWalt batteries that are rechargeable, and it has a 110 option as well. You can plug it right into a cord. So they're both really nice pieces of equipment. The FY24 budget has drawn to a close at this point. We're watching that very carefully. Happy to report no major issues with that, closing that out. Everything seems to have gone seamlessly. Been working with our financial team, both Dawn and Jackie, to make sure, and Jim, to make sure everything gets closed out appropriately, everything gets encumbered appropriately, and hopefully there's no outstanding bills that may need to be addressed down the road. So I'm happy about that, and everything seems to look pretty good.
You're the best, Chief. You have anything?
Nope, thanks for doing a good job.
Thank you, guys.
And
Jimmy?
your guys too.
Jimmy, you have anything?
No.
Guys and gals.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next, we have the Emergency Management Report.
Good evening, Emergency Manager James McKeon with my May and June report. Start with May. May 5th, we did our the Warren sirens test. Everything was normal there. May 18th, we assisted the town of West Brookfield with their Asparagus Festival. We usually help them with the crosswalks and the parking. Had 4 members from Warren that assisted. May 22nd, we had our monthly CERT meeting, planning of upcoming events that had occurred. 4 members attended. May 26th was our Memorial Day Parade. Our members helped with detouring traffic. A few members were even in the parade. We did have 1 member from Charlton that came over and helped out. And the following day, May 27th, we assisted with West Brookfield's Memorial Day Parade. Same thing, detoured blocking roads. We had a member from Sturbridge help us, and of course West Brookfield's staff too. As you'll see in my reports, working regionally here with between West Brookfield, Sturbridge, Charlton, so gaining all our forces together to make events happen.
Jimmy, you're the best too.
Yes.
Thank you very much. How many members do we have volunteers?
Well, it's kind of been shrinking in the past little time here. But we have, let's say, a good 4 to 6 people that are kind of active.
6 members.
Yeah, well, this is. So in June, we did our sirens test again, June 2nd. On June 4th, I attended a National Grid Safety meeting, annually meeting. They talk about all their safety practices for the coming year. And at the same time that was happening, we had our massive gas leak in town, which I have a report, EOC that could be for that. June 5th, the team watched a webinar on protecting children in disasters. This was put on by the MRC, it's a medical corps. They're getting us involved in some webinars and stuff. We're able to do them. June 8th, we helped out with the Quabog graduation, parking and traffic control. 2 members from West Brookfield, 1 from Sturbridge, and 1 even from Auburn, 3 of us from Warren. The next following day, June 9th, we went to Auburn to help with a road race. June 13th and 14th, due to high temperatures, we opened the cooling center at the senior center. Each day roughly had about 3 to 4 people after 3 to 6 with the service kind of watching over. During the day it was a regular for senior center and they do their regular program, but we just extend it on hot days, which seems to be working out well. We had a couple volunteers help us out. That once in June. June 23rd was actually June 22nd, the fireworks got canceled, postponed. There's no date yet set for that. Hopefully, coming time, something to be figured out. June 23rd, the concert with the Pike at Lucy Stone Park provided some crossing and parking assistance. June 24th, the lifeguards started their operation at the Cummins Pond Beach. They're on from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. They're controlled through the recreation department, which will, if you go up to the beach, there's the lifeguard through the summer months. Lastly, June 26th, West Brookfield had their bonfire concert. 2 members helped with handicap. We did have some thunder and lightning during that event, but still a lot of people came out to it. It's a fairly large event they had there. And then June 28th, we had our first concert petting zoo held at Dean Park. The team helped out with parking cars. This concert was very well attended. I would say there had to be at least 400 people there. Parked probably about 10 lines of cars. The petting zoo brings a big crowd. And even our last concert was pretty well attended. Hopefully this week too, we have the touch truck event coming up tomorrow. So a lot more people are coming out to those.
Are you gonna take pictures for the truck?
Yes, I would like, if someone's available to take some professional pictures.
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about you getting your wings and finally be able to take a picture from the sky.
Haven't found too much extra time to get into that yet.
Okay, so that's your graduation day. I'm gonna be there and we're gonna do it together. Okay?
So you're gonna get the drone up and,
Yeah, he's about ready to get his wings, and one of the things are like, this kind of events, go up, take a picture of all the crowd and come down.
Mhm.
It's a good graduation event, so hopefully we can do that.
Yes.
I really want you guys, you're gonna need that in the future at some point, so you have it, you better use it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you, Lou.
as there's still, you want to do the grant? You guys get the grant, information about the grant?
What is that?
It's just flip back and go to number 3. And after, now flip past all his reports, the other way. Right,
These guys?
close, next one,
More.
one more. You should have a page that looks like this. Right there, yeah, that's the grant he's talking about.
Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay. So we got a,
Are you doing this one first, Jim?
yeah, that's it, that's
Okay,
the CERT
doing
grant.
this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the contract, they got the contract in that.
Right.
Council. So I'm just gonna say what we applied for a grant, and we were awarded it. This is a reimbursable grant. The town spends the funds out first, and gets it reimbursed. It's up to $10,000. This grant's possible because we have CERT volunteers in town. We're looking to purchase gym mats, projector screen, and printers and scanner for the town hall office CERT room here. The mats will be used for trainings, required teams, training on floor like such as CPR. Projectors and screens are to aid in these newer webinars, virtual trainings we have now. Printer scanner, because we really don't have no way of printing out, documenting some of our trainings. Better record keeping. So that's what the grant comes about.
Is that something we need to approve or vote?
It basically just needs to be signed by
Yeah.
you guys. and
You just
go
need to
back.
sign it. Now, I have a question. We have a projector in there that we bought before we got the owl. We have several screens. I have probably 4 different screens sitting around.
Okay.
Can we just let CERT have them?
And the printing too, right? Can they hook up to their system?
We don't
Yeah.
have a,
Yes, if they're on the network, then they can print.
right.
Do you, so Mrs. Dusty is saying that there's a projector back over there that we got at the beginning before we got all this. And there's some couple of screens. And also the possibility that you can connect to the network and use the town hall printers.
Yes, there is. Though with printers here, is there a way, like say we were doing some kind of mobile operation, needed to move the printer to some other place in town?
Yeah,
So
if
you
it's
just
for that,
need-
you
You
will
just
need-
need a printer scanner
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Okay.
was part
But
of
as
it.
far as the projectors and the screens,
Yeah,
see me.
okay.
I would love to get them out of my office.
Alright, the auction. We're also looking, we have the shades and stuff in our training room, that's part of the screens, get basically new shades. So that was a part of possibly this grant could help out the company.
That shouldn't, that's part of the town building, right? It should come up from the town's budget.
Well, secondly, honestly, this, it's gonna come from the town first, and the town's getting it reimbursed, so we're looking at.
Yeah,
it.
we're trying to, we're not saying no. We're trying to help, and so you can get more other stuff.
Screens, you mean like these?
Yeah, like a projector screen
Oh,
and then the
project-
shades.
Oh, shades.
Two
Oh, wow.
screens and shades, it's kind of together.
So I believe we do have
You
a
could
couple
also,
screens.
If the shades were white, you could use them as different screens if we needed to project multiple, different screens. So you'd have
Well-
shades.
We will support you in anything you want. just giving you more options. Okay.
Okay.
Well, those are our,
You good?
this grant, so.
So both of us need to sign?
No, just you,
Just me? Where do I
Over.
sign?
that far corner.
I think on the.
Yep,
Yeah.
right there.
Could you give a copy to Jackie?
Yeah, of the whole grant and everything?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you have to,
What?
do you have that? I think it's sent there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim, when you look at the last page of that grant, does he have to fill out, is that one page that says he gives authority to,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I never know what he's supposed to
Yeah,
fill out.
Contractor authorized signature, yeah.
So-
He would have to sign there too, yeah.
He has to sign that one too.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more for you, Derek.
Where's he signing? Oh, at the very bottom?
Yes.
Very bottom.
And you'd have to put Jim's name up there.
Funny.
Do you need my phone number and my email too?
She could fill that out.
I can fill that
Just
out.
the town, phone number, town
Yeah.
address. Right?
All right.
And then up here, I just put Jim McKeon in the title. Okay.
Good. And one other thing, as of July 1st, I've given the CERT operationals of the actual events over to CERT leaders. Currently, my father is one of the only leaders, Alan, which Karen's got the contact information and stuff and numbers. Everything's still contacts through me, emergency management, but I'm calling myself just under emergency management, not a CERT anymore. Kind of give that to the leaders, and then make it cascades down through the members.
Okay. You good with that? You're happy?
Yes.
As soon as
I'm
you're
just
happy.
letting everyone know that that's
Okay. So it's good.
pretty much all I got for my report, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Got anything else also?
You're good.
All righty, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. So we have a schedule, a change order number 3 for School Street Phase 1 and Prospect Street Improvement Project. Anticipated vote?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This evening is a couple change orders for you in a final certification of Phase 1 School Street project. So the two change orders before you are actually, cost underruns. So we're under budget, so we're actually saving money by these change orders. So the first change order, it has a net change in the contract price to a negative $18,950. And then the second one has a net change in contract price, a negative $16,450. So the project came in under budget. And these are the change orders that are recommended by the project engineer, Weston and Sampson.
Good.
There are two different ones.
Do you have any questions? No?
As a result of these change orders, if you may recall, there was a discussion that we were having early on in the project that we might need to dip into, and we reserved some ARPA money as well as asked our water district, the Warren Water District, to also reserve some money. We were able to get those covered through the grant, because the project was able to come in under budget, and so we didn't have to dip into those two other pots of money.
Good. You want to make a motion?
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the Schedule A change order number 3 for the School Street Phase 1 and Prospect Street Improvement Project.
I second that. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved.
The bottom line.
You own it.
I own it?
Says owner.
Item number 5, Schedule B, change order number 3 for School Street Phase 1 and Prospect Street Improvement Project, anticipated vote.
So this is the second change order. So Schedule A is funded through CDBG. Schedule B is through the One Stop grant. So on the One Stop project, there's a under budget of about $16,450.
Good.
Motion?
A motion.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the Schedule B change order number 3 for School Street Phase 1 and Prospect Street Improvement Project.
Second. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved. And signed. Number 6 is final certification of contractor A. Martins and Sons Construction, Inc., School Street Phase 1, anticipated vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So this is the final certification of completion of the work for Phase 1 of the School Street project. It is recommended by our project engineer, Weston and Sampson, that we sign off on this. We are at that stage. This is for Phase 1 of the project. Phase 1 still has a warranty period that is still in effect, but this is just signaling that the work has been completed.
So like all the punch lists are done and everything?
Yes.
Finito.
Okay.
Still, there's still a warranty period,
Yeah.
if there needs to be, something needs to be addressed within the 1 year. We still have that, guarantee.
Good.
Motion? I'll make a motion to approve the certificate of final completion on the School Street Phase 1 and Prospect Street Improvement Project.
Second. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved. Owner again?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next, discussion on the Selectmen encumber amounts, anticipated vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As departments are finishing up, wrapping up, and closing out fiscal year '24, departments are in boards and commissions are going through and encumbering any funds that they may need that they have not yet received the bill yet, but services are either currently ongoing or have been rendered already, and they're anticipating a bill. So there are 3 items here. Karen went through all of the stuff on the Selectmen side for all of the bills, and she's anticipating that there potentially could be 2 other National Grid bills. And on the Selectmen matching grant, we currently have, as you know, a contract with Weston and Sampson for a 10% match to our EDA grant that we need to encumber about $30,000 to fulfill that ongoing contract.
Okay, so we have to vote, we have
Yeah.
to discuss.
I'll make them.
You have anything to discuss?
No?
I don't have anything to discuss. We're good? Make a
So
motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Selectmen encumbered funds.
Second, all in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye, motion passes.
You both have to sign that.
Our next item is an appointment for James Ferreira as the procurement officer for a 3-year term, anticipated vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It has come to our attention that when I was appointed as the procurement officer last year, it was only for a 1-year term. So when we discovered that, we're bringing this forward to the board so that we can have an official procurement officer appointed by the board to fill out. This is part of my normal duties that I have, as part of my normal duties as town administrator.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'll make a motion to appoint James Ferrara as the procurement officer for a 3-year term.
Second, all in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye, motion approved. Thank you for the next 3 years.
Thanks. In advance.
Next, we have a discussion on the use of additional American Rescue Plan Act to complete the environmental assessment on the Public Safety Municipal Complex Facility Study.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, members of the board. I kind of want to give a brief update as to where we are with our public safety / municipal complex feasibility study. This study is very close to completion, and we have been working very diligently with Tecton Architects, with police and fire chiefs, having internal meetings, and with Jeff, who's our project lead on this, principal at Tecton, Jeff McAvey. So what is before you this evening is our original scope within our feasibility study allowed us to look at three, as many sites as we could in town, but allowed us to only focus in on one particular site for design, for environmental, for testing, and so it is clear that that through our working through our committee and our discussions with the board, that we want to give the residents of the town multiple options to have and to show them how we've considered a couple different scenarios. And so what is before you this evening is a request to use some additional ARPA funds in the amount of $18,500 that can be used to complete environmental, conceptual design, and some additional testing for one of the sites in question. We have one site that is already paid through the grant, and ARPA funds that have already been reserved. This is for an additional site to have that put in there and have that work completed. We think that through our discussions with our public safety officials. We think that it would be beneficial to have this completed now on this particular site, as well as, incorporating it into our overall feasibility study. There is an additional site, which is reflected in this letter. That would have been a total of $47,000, including a third site. But at this time, given the fact that we had learned some additional information that recently came out about this additional site that the town was thinking about investigating, it is our position to hold on doing anything at that particular site at this particular juncture. Not to say that we won't revisit it in the future, but at this time we would hold on that. So the group is looking to reprogram some of the savings that we had in the ARPA funds that we didn't have to use for the School Street project, as well as some leftovers, some ARPA funds that weren't needed on some of the other projects. And we feel comfortable, I feel comfortable that we could take care of this additional assessment of $18,500 through the use of ARPA funds.
What do you say?
It's fine with me. So how much ARPA do we have left overall?
So overall, we didn't have to use approximately $11,000 on the School Street project.
Okay.
We had $8,000 reserved for an audit that we didn't have to participate this year on, and we've already budgeted for next year's audit. So there's $18,000 right there, as well as there's approximately $3,000 left in some miscellaneous projects that came in under budget.
Yeah, as long as the, our, fire and police they're happy with it.
Well, we do have the chief of, Adam Lavoie here with us. I think he could add to this discussion as well, Chief.
Adam Lavoie, Fire Chief. I sat down with Jim and we discussed this at length from a few different perspectives. I think that a project of this scope, when you're looking at this totality and knowing what the next steps are that are coming down the road, there's going to be a lot of questions asked. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. There's going to be a lot of pros and cons that we're going to be looking at over the next year or so. So I think it's important that we explore all the options on the table, because inevitably somebody's going to ask, why didn't you look at this? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? So I think if we are upfront and transparent from the very beginning and look at those options from the very beginning and have those questions and be prepared to answer as many of those questions as we possibly can going forward when we have our focus groups and our open sessions and whatnot that's coming down the road, I think it's important to be able to answer as many of that stuff as possible. And doing this will allow us to add another site that the town, potentially would be interested in having, a project like this sit on. So I think I think we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't do this. We intended on doing it on potentially all 3 sites. However, because of, something that, some information that came up recently, there's just a little question as to whether or not the timing is right on this site because of some, whether or not there's, additional information. I think it's better for the town to take a step back for a minute until we see, what potentially may happen, down the road. But this other one that we're talking about, that Jim is talking about, I'm 100% in support of getting this done, because I think you're comparing apples to apples at that point, and we did the same thing with the first site. So I think it's good.
Completely agree, Chief.
So the letter from Tecton is looking for 2 additional sites, but basically we're going to cut that in half and do
Correct.
one, right? Okay.
Right. And not to say that we wouldn't do the third one in the future,
But at this time.
but not at this time.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Sounds good to me. You want to make a motion?
So what's the motion? To make a motion to use ARPA funds
$18,500.
$18,500 in ARPA funds to adjust the scope of the public safety municipal complex feasibility study.
Reed, second. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Thank you, passes.
Thank you.
And there we go, warrants and bills.
All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants for FY '24. Number 83 payroll, $120,685.46. Number 84 vendor, $107,339.65. Number 85 vendor, $601,266. Number, is this right? 85P?
Yes.
Okay. Payroll, $72,746.71. Number 86 vendor, $62,806.98. Number 87 payroll, $6,884.60. Number 88A vendor, $37,298.16.
Second. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
Make a motion to pay the following warrants. FY '25, AP01-25 vendor, $33,460.49. PR01-25 payroll, $46,766.15. AP0225, $14,435.23.
Second. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
Is this our new numbering system for,
I'm not real sure. This is just what she has at the top of the
Yes.
warrants. So,
I mean, it's like first month of fiscal '25, right?
Right.
Second month of fiscal '25.
no, I think it's the first AP. This is the first one. It isn't the month. This
Oh,
is
just-
number one.
Just whatever warrant number.
Yeah,
it is.
whatever warrant. So we'll get up to AP 52.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following bills for FY '24. Weston and Sampson, $56,805. BG Mechanical, $1,563.50. RH White, $5,560. Myrick O'Connell, $3,377. KP Law, $3,441.57. Modern Pest, $108. Verizon, $169.18. C2MA Adams, $3,317.33. Crystal Rock, $1,587. Warren Water District, $179.99. Buffon Cleaning, $1,850. Marlin, $1,107.23. Warren Water District, $19,812.50. Vanpool, $2,910.60. Pine Ridge Technologies, $366.40. Maya, $2,743. Central Mass Regional Planning, $15,000. A. Martins and Sons, $39,525.85. A. Martins and Sons, $163,313.07. Comcast Business, $20.78.
Second. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
Make a motion to pay the following bills. FY '25, custom drug testing, 100 Northeast IT, 225 MA Municipal Management Association, $244.87. West Warren Water District, $14,899. SBA Structures, $1,753.85. Hampton Communications, $1,500. Maya, $143,360.
Second. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Good.
Yep.
That was a long one.
Yeah. Oh, minutes at the bottom of the page, the other page.
Next, we have minutes, review and possible acceptance of the minute of any minutes since it's been here.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from June 6th and June 20th, 2024.
Second? All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion passes. Town Administrator Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board. I have some items that I'd like to report on the board on some of the projects that we've been working on here over the last couple of weeks since our last meeting. So our phone system, our new One Talk Verizon phone system is fully installed. The phones are up and running. I had to work with the team at Verizon over the course of the last couple of weeks to ensure that the phones are functioning and that they are that people are able to understand how they work. We had a couple trainings on them, virtual trainings, and we can certainly have some additional training if needed from Verizon should any questions arise. For the most part, I think people are happy with the system. I think that there was quite a bit of punch list items that needed to be corrected, and we got them corrected over the last week or two. And people are now accessing their voicemail. There's a new call-in. It's all the same numbers that you call into all of the departments, but there's a new voiceover on the system with a prompt for the most critical departments that have the most needs for customer service that are being addressed at the Shepherd Building, as well as prompts for police and fire as well. There is the One Talk system are all phones throughout the Verizon network. So we will be seeing a slightly different bill than what we have been received before. So all of the phones, the actual desktop phones, will be on one bill now moving forward. So the departments will have to sign off on their bills. I am pleased to report that we were able to get a $2,000 rebate off of our bill because of the commitment that Verizon had made to the town. And so this first bill that we will be getting, there's a $2,000 rebate right off the bat for the bill. Again, we were able to take care of the infrastructure, the hard desktop phones, through ARPA funds, and that was a little over $4,000 of an expense that that was approved by the board, that we were able to make that investment in all new infrastructure. We are going around now that the new phones are installed. We're getting the old phones collected. We will probably be storing them in the archive room just in case for an emergency. But for the most part, all the phones should be operational and working when you call into town, and voicemails have been set up. Because our system was such an older system, there was, issues, punch list issues that needed to be addressed. So it did take some time over the last couple weeks, but I appreciate everybody's patience and understanding. This system is going to be far superior than what we had, and far more secure than what we had. And so I'm pretty pleased with the response that we've gotten from Verizon and their technicians to get out here. We also went recently to a new IT provider as of July 1st. Entree Technologies has taken over the account. We were again able to save some money and go with a provider that's on the state contract list. So the town is saving approximately $9,000 a year currently on making that switch. There was throughout the switch again, there is some punch list items that we have to address. when you're dealing with any type of little project. This particular project, we were, was it this Monday? We were without internet for approximately 3 to 4 hours. And the issue for that was because there was a Sonic Ninja wall that wasn't removed by our previous IT provider. And so we had to get Entree right here on site to address this. And they did come on site. Two crew members came out from Entree to address this. I think everybody is in operation at this point. There may be a few laptops that we have to look at to get those updated and to get everybody taken care of. The process with Entree has been smooth up until this point. We are still working out some punch list items that need to be addressed, and Entree is going to be committed to taking care of those. I've been in contact with Nick Miller, who's our onboarding specialist with Entree, to ensure that this process is somewhat smooth and seamless moving forward. So we're continuing to work and monitor the situation. I know that there was some, just as of today, there were some passwords that were exchanged by the two companies for our Barracuda software program that is now transitioning from Northeast to Entree. And so that took place today. We are also, as part of this contract, we are going to get on-site automatically a rep to come out on-site, and our day is going to be every second Monday of the month for 2 hours. There was somebody that came out this Monday, and so every second Monday of the month we will have somebody coming out from Entree. Even if we don't have any open tickets, they will be coming out, checking with people, looking at our server, doing some on-site inspections, and just being here regardless whether or not there's open tickets or not open tickets. There is a new process for getting tickets. There's a new email address that departments have to email in order to get a ticket. I sent that out the end of June before the transition, so departments know how to contact if they're having IT issues or any type of troubleshooting problems or with their computer. They can contact Entree. They have extended hours. They have emergency on-site as well if needed. And so we will be protected in terms of that. I would anticipate them ramping up their trainings starting relatively soon for their monthly trainings as well. Along with all of that, with those projects, we have been simultaneously posting for positions. We've posted for several open positions in town. We currently have them posted on the website. They've run in Ware River News as of today and next week. They are on Indeed, and we have quite an extensive list of opportunities for full-time and part-time employment with the town. We have a listing that was in the Ware River News today of all of the positions that are currently available. So anybody that's listening at home or may have know of some individuals that may be interested in work with the town, please check out our website, www.warren-ma.gov, for any potential opportunities that somebody may like to get involved, whether it be full-time or part-time positions. We started interviews this week for our senior center lunch coordinator down at the senior center. I've participated in all of the interviews. We've had 4 main candidates that we interviewed. You know, I'm sure throughout our deliberations with myself, Sharon Milley, our Senior Senate Director, and some members of our Council on Aging Board, you know, that we will be bringing a candidate forward in the not too distant future for the board for consideration for that position. So I would say that the lunch coordinator's position could potentially be filled relatively soon, hopefully, to get that vacancy taken care of. The other vacancies are still ongoing. We're still in the process of getting resumes and cover letters, and we're still collecting them. They're going to be open until filled. So if individuals have an interest, please go to the website and send in your resume. Also, last week and the week before, I was able to participate in 2 different meetings outside of Warren. One was with the Ware Business District Association and beyond. They had a breakfast meeting up at the Palmer Motors Sports in Palmer, and we were able to you know, work with some of our counterparts in other communities. And Stuart Beckley, the Ware Town Manager, good friend, was there. We were able to talk back and forth on issues between both communities, as well as members of the business community in the region. And you know, I did promote the town at the meeting and tell the business community that Warren is open for business. Bring your ideas, bring your proposals to the table. We have a great community here. We have vacancies in office buildings in our downtown area. We have opportunities to grow a business here in town. We have real estate that's available for sale or lease in our downtown area. And we're looking for businesses to bring forward ideas and proposals. I also commented on the work that is being done through our EDA grant, through our Rice Mills Master Recovery Plan, and addressing any deficiencies around the Rice Mills complex, and telling the business community that we're developing a plan. And if you're interested in mills, that this plan could potentially help a potential private partner and the public entity work together to address some of those deficiencies, and hopefully in turn will spur some economic development within the mill. So there is that meeting, which was important to attend. I will be attending more of those meetings because I do want to start to focus in on some economic development for the town in growing business into the town, because I think that's a key component to growth of the town. And so I will be joining that group more often, as well as on June 27th, I did participate in STAM annual town meeting, STAM's annual town business meeting, and that's the Small Town Administrators Association. And so there was probably 30 to 40 town administrators throughout Massachusetts that come together. We met in Boylston, and we talked about all the different issues and topics that communities are facing, so that I can keep up to date with some of the challenges that that other communities are facing. And you would be surprised that the same challenges that we're facing here are challenges in other communities as well. And it's the same thing. It's tough to find individuals to fill certain positions, whether it be assessors, wastewater treatment operators, those critical police officers, those critical positions are tough to fill in a lot of communities, and it's not just benign to Warren. So, there was a discussion about employment. There was a discussion about audits and who should be giving the presentation about audits was our own auditor, Tony Roselli. So he gave a presentation. He does many communities throughout Massachusetts, and he talked about year-end audits and town audits and what to be looking for and how to improve upon your audits. It was very good that we got a good audit this year, and so some of the insight that he had given us, we had already taken into form. I will also let the board know that we did send out well in advance of our 90-day notice, the notice that biweekly payroll is going to be into effect come October. So that we will be rolling that out in October. I've worked with our treasurer, our town accountant on that. They have been working very diligently. I have to give Dawn Swistak a lot of kudos for her help coordinating and working with Harper's as well as Jackie for her assistance with that. We're transitioning to bi-weekly payroll come October. The notice went out last payroll period, so that notice went out well in advance of our 90 days that we had promised. And so as we are continuing to close out the end of this fiscal year, every department is busy right now. The books close on July 15th. This is the last week. Bills are due in from the accountant. The accountant's office is very busy. Treasurer's office is very busy, and every office is busy because we have staff that is processing, getting all the bills ready, doing all of the work to get them to those offices. So everybody in the town is extremely busy, making sure that we don't have any bills, lying around. And so I did also have this week a meeting with the finance team, absent our assessor, so hopefully we will be getting an assistant assessor soon. But I did meet with myself, Jackie, Carrie, Dawn. We sat down this week to talk about some of the financial pieces of Warren and how we can start to put together a financial report that I would like to give to the board on a more regular basis for like a monthly or a bi-monthly report. It's just pulling all that information together so that we can have it. We're all working together to get that information, and I think it's going to be happening very soon. So you'll be seeing some of that report very soon. So we're all working on those matters, as well as again, closing out the end of the fiscal year is key. We've got grants that need to be closed out, reimbursements that have already been put in. So everybody is busy in town hall. So I'm happy to take any questions or any concerns that the board may have.
Rich, anything?
So a couple things. First of all, kudos to Jim. There was a problem with the phone system where if you called in on a landline, it wasn't working, but if you called in on a cell phone, it was fine. Mm-hmm. So I think you spent like 2.5 days, maybe 3 days trying to work that out.
We didn't know that was an issue.
Well, I discovered it by accident, right? Trying to call planning or you. I think I was trying to call you.
Yeah.
So and then I called Jim and said, hey.
So it was a Verizon issue, and what happened was that when they were doing the transfer over, the the system was set up, the original system and the bills were set up years ago. And I mean, they still have, some person's name on it that I've never met the person, but
Angela,
it was here,
somebody.
years ago. And so if we didn't have the exact format of how it was read on the bill, and it didn't match what was put into the system at Verizon would kick it back. And so it was kicking back things that, if we didn't have a period at the end of Route 19 on the bill at the highway garage, then, it would kick it back. So the transfer wouldn't go through. And so those were troubleshooting things that we had to deal with, working with Verizon, getting it squared away. I think for the most part, the things are resolved.
Second comment,
Just before you go from the phones, what is our main phone number for the building?
Our main phone number is 413-436-5700 or 01, 02, 03.
Thank you for calling the Town Warren Administrative Offices.
That's
Our
working.
general hours of operation at the Shepherd Building are from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday.
So what I really would like to do is get that number on the front page of the website. And we
Good luck
can't.
with that.
We tried, I tried so hard. Can I get the guys from the website?
I have a person's name actually has
Can you
reached
pass it
out
to
for me.
I'll-
I will.
I really would like to show up on the first page. Now that we have a good phone system, it deserves to be there.
Okay. What I love about our phone system is if I want to talk to Adam, I don't have to dial Adam's phone number. I pick it up and I hit his extension,
Very nice.
and it goes straight to Adam.
Yeah. Good things. Sorry, Rich, just wanted to touch.
yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, there's no phone number there.
No, there's nothing. No.
No, David tried and tried and tried, and I've tried.
Yeah. it's
I
a
even
check.
Google, like, I want to call, I want to talk. It doesn't show up.
I do have a guy's name. He reached out to me, so I'll send it to you.
Yes, please.
The other comment is the Barracuda email thing. I find it never works. It's very frustrating. I don't know if there's a better system.
Yeah,
You could
I
get
think
it.
that's what they use. I think both companies use that system.
Yeah,
It's my understanding of it.
every time I've tried to use it, it just
Yeah.
doesn't work.
No.
So,
No.
It
I
doesn't
even
for
didn't
me
know
either.
about it.
yeah, what it is it catches spam emails, and it'll give you an option to block, quarantine, and one other thing. But then when you click on those buttons, then you have to log in, and it just,
You gotta put a password in.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work though,
No.
even
Yeah,
if you
and
can
it-
get
yeah.
through all that. It's a
Mm.
piece of junk. So.
I just ignore him.
Yeah, I just delete it.
Take the trainings and learn how to triage your email.
My last comment, totally unrelated to anything we've talked about. The printer lease, printer copier lease. When is that up?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I thought it was for another year. Thought it was 3 years. We've only had
Oh,
it.
maybe it is another year. Okay,
That was my understanding,
okay. Just curious.
but I can double check on that.
That's all for me.
It's all good for me, Jim. Thank you very much. Unless anybody has any questions for the town administrator.
Yes. You said there were 40 town managers?
Could you tell us your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Tim Barty. Did you say there were 40 town managers, Jim?
About that, yeah.
And, oh, administrators. How about managers? Were there?
There was a mixture, yeah, mixture.
Okay. CMS was mentioning that down the road they were gonna regionalize those positions. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Well, there's some communities that do it, but a lot of communities, for the most part, that have a good town administrator or manager, they want to keep that person. And if they don't want to share it with another community. There has been communities that share town administrators, usually smaller communities. I have a colleague of mine that does Washington, the town of Washington and Middlefield. Two relatively small communities, but they were able to agree and regionalize, and it's working for them. They have a population, I think, a total of maybe 2,500. You know, there was an agreement out in Lee Lennox area that Lee Lennox were sharing a town administrator, and the town administrator would do both communities. And Lennox said, you know, we want a 40-hour at least plus person in our community. And, you know, it worked for maybe, you know, a year or two. And, you know, Lee said they wanted their own, and so they each have their own. But, you know, there are some communities, usually the smaller communities, you know, they can do that. You know, that's always, you know, an option.
We did look at it when we were looking at hiring one. West Brookfield asked if we would share. And I brought it to the board and they said, nope. Don't want to share.
We're not gonna share. If you wanna.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Good. New business.
I don't have anything.
Nope, me neither. Old business?
I think I see a hole in the railroad ties.
Yeah, I saw them pull him in through a truck.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, all
I was
right.
gonna take a picture, but I was driving, I couldn't take a picture.
But yeah, the last couple times I've driven by, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a gap now, right?
Yep,
Okay,
yeah, I saw a truck
thank God.
getting them out of here.
All right, good. Well, hopefully that continues.
Do you know
Slowly
anything
but
more?
surely.
Yeah, well,
I saw them earlier today. They were loading them today.
okay.
They were there yesterday also.
Awesome, all right.
We had a previous conversation about a sound barrier wall at the senior center.
It's up.
It's up?
Mhm.
Good.
Oh,
Does it
cool.
work?
The gentleman's very happy.
Good.
Really?
Mhm. Yep.
I'll have to
Jeremy
try.
said something about you were going to put something on the inside.
If it was still an issue,
Yeah.
but I don't know how the budget worked out.
Yeah, it's under budget, and he's satisfied with what it is right now.
So I designed the wall, and I went far beyond what the budget is, so I gave them the options to, you
Yeah.
know, stay in the budget or go beyond, but
It's fine.
it's fine.
It's good.
We met over there, we did some measurements of the noise and where it was coming, where it was bouncing, and that's how we got it, so. And
Okay.
once we changed that air conditioning, and the highway department can reuse those
Mhm.
materials too,
Mhm.
or stay there.
Cool.
Did we hear that Verizon got the grant?
Yes, Verizon did get a grant. So the embargo has been lifted, and a grant that about 6 months ago we had a Verizon person join us via Zoom, and you know, talked about the board signing a letter in support of a Verizon grant, and so the grant was approved by the state, and MBI is going to work with Verizon to build out Fios in town.
Have they been in touch with you, like giving you like, oh, we're gonna do this, this is gonna happen? No?
Yeah, no, the only thing that was released, and I think I forwarded it to the board, was the notice that the grant was awarded and the embargo was lifted, so it can be talked about.
We have hope.
publicly.
So is that gonna be for everybody in town or just underserved?
Everybody.
Okay, so there's now competition
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
with Comcast, that's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
A quick news on.
It's gonna take some time to build out, but it
Oh, yeah.
will, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's so
Yeah.
much in infrastructure that has to be built, that it's not gonna happen today or tomorrow, but
Right.
at least there we have hope.
Right,
You know, if we have a new business and say, hey, I don't have signal here or anything, oh, don't worry.
right.
Verizon is coming here with files. Town alert. Remember the old flip phones? Or non-smartphones?
Mhm.
So now Town Alert has the option for people who still have a flip phone to opt for text message if they want to get an alert. So I'm gonna put that out on our Facebook page where people can, fill a form. This is my phone number, and as soon as then they do that, we put them into the system. And since they don't have a smartphone where they can download the app, now they'll just receive a text message. I think I'm good. Oh, one more thing. I saw that the senior center, they're having a presentation from the Quabbin Reservoir. Have you seen it? So
Like
they-
about the four towns?
Yeah, I
Oh.
think that's what it is. It caught my attention because remember when we were at that meeting where, all towns were looking how to get more money from the state, and then somebody said, well, we, the small towns around Quebec, should get more money because we give them all the water.
Yeah.
So that caught my attention. I think it's a nice opportunity to learn a little bit more about this. So I think it's on the 24th at the senior center in the morning.
Okay.
Look up on Facebook, they have it over there. Any correspondence?
Yes, we have one.
We have from veteran agent, right?
Mhm.
It's about your flag, right?
Mhm.
Do you want me to read it?
Do you want me to tell them about it?
Yes, please, yes.
Okay, well, Michelle looked into the Gold Star flag, and what she found out, the Gold Star flag is usually given to families to fly outside of their homes that have lost someone during the time. So to put one as a general, she says that probably isn't the best thing to do. And she would recommend a honor and remember flag that has the gold star still in it, but then has honor and remember.
Mhm.
And so she suggests this flag.
For what? The town?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I don't know, you got a flag policy, you have to look.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Our flag policy does not cover this. So,
Okay.
we need to amend that. We should have probably amended to any flags related to veterans instead of, I think we called it specifically the MIA POW flag, right? Yeah.
So you'd have to amend the flag policy.
So, next meeting,
Okay.
To make it happen, next meeting, we amend that, because she's mentioning putting it up in December.
Right.
so we got plenty
Oh,
of
you got
time.
some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll make it happen,
Mhm.
okay? We'll change that policy, and now that's a go.
Yeah.
Okay. That was all I had.
Any more correspondence? Rich?
Oh, no, I don't have anything.
Jamie? No? No Barracuda correspondence?
Well, no, I did. That's why I brought it up.
Uh, Okay, so we're gonna go into comments and concerns. You have any comments or concerns?
No?
I don't either. Any comments, concerns? Ms. Dusty?
No?
Public and Zoom? Yes, John?
Joe Conrad, resident. When it comes to CERT, I've noticed that on this WCAT 6, about every 5 minutes, they run page looking for volunteers for CERT. Could be 18, could be 88. It's not an everyday job. It's only when you need it. For most parts, it might be directing traffic around a fire or around an accident, something that is needed for less than an hour. Or say like, if it's gonna be for fireworks, well, you're gonna be directing traffic and telling people where to park during the fireworks. It's not a big deal, it's a volunteer. And I'm sure there are enough people that have nothing to do every day of the week. You could volunteer some time.
Well, even if they have things to do like we do, we would love to be part of that team. Thank you, John. Anybody else? Ma'am?
Yeah, Dan Thibodeau, Board of Health. Warren, we have issues right now with Board of Health. I did a inspection, a third call-out inspection today at 27 North Street. We have a deadbeat landlord. They've gone past their 30-day their 30-day deadline to respond to the complaints. And matter of fact, the complaints have gotten worse. Now it's affecting a first floor apartment that recently has gone the last 2 to 3 months without heat or electricity. Okay, and a refrigerator removed that was broken. No refrigeration in her unit. Okay. She didn't call to complain as of yet, although I'm hearing she's going to be calling me tomorrow. Okay. I went over there for the second floor today. I was over there 30 days ago, maybe a little bit more than that, for another follow-up inspection. And I spoke with the landlord face to face, who's out of town, doesn't live in this area, and he assured that he would correct everything. He didn't correct anything. As a matter of fact, the conditions have gotten worse. Now there's standing water in the bathtubs, in the kitchen sink, in the bathroom sinks. There was a leak in the third floor apartment in that building, which is an illegal apartment. That building is designed for 2 families, and that's it. Okay? So we need to get the building inspector over there. We also need to get a plumber over there, because there is a plumbing issue in that house. There's either a ventilation issue or there's something clogging those lines, because that water does not drain from the basins that are in that facility. The tenant is beside herself, and quite frankly, I'm pretty much at the top of my limit with this place right now. Okay. I've asked for the building inspector to go over there. I've asked for the plumbing inspector to go over there. I don't get any response. And I can't answer the tenant's questions on how long is this going to last? What do I do now? Okay. Right now, my thing to them is I can condemn the whole property, but now the town has to put up the money to put these people somewhere. And that's what my position is right now. That's where I'm at right now. The next answer that I have to provide to them is, how are we going to solve the situation? Okay. I can't extend the 30 days any longer. I can't add on time for these guys to do this, because they've already demonstrated they haven't been able to do it. They don't want to do it. They're doing it, I'm just going to say it, half-ass. Okay. Last inspection, there was a drainage leak on the trap underneath the sink in the kitchen. I pointed out, I told them what to do to fix it. Get a plumber in here. All they got to do is change the trap. Put a new one in. Easy fix. What did they do? Today I looked at it. Duct tape. Okay. The bathroom had a water leak from the illegal apartment upstairs. What did they do? They ripped the ceiling down, I don't know how long ago, and the ceiling is still there, and the leak isn't fixed.
Still leaking?
Still leaking. Okay. The apartment is getting worse as time goes on. The basement in the house, one of the things that's on our checklist is weather tightness for the perimeter of the building. Okay, and that includes glass and windows. There are no glass panes in any of the windows in the basement. The basement floods with water when it rains. Okay. We have issues over there. The tenant is really at her limit. I'm at my limit, and now I gotta go deal with the first floor tenant over there, and I need help. I need the building inspector to get in there. I need the plumbing inspector to get over there. I need this to happen now, not 3 weeks from now. It has to happen now. Because I can't keep pushing anything off any longer. Okay. 27 North Street is a real issue right now. And with the apartment on the first floor, and I think there's a child in the first floor apartment, I'm not sure yet. But once I get in there next week, I'll know what the issues are with her down there. The water was shut off the other day. And it was miraculously turned on as soon as the bill was paid. What the landlord told the tenants was the town is just doing a pressure test on the plumbing. It was actually non-payment of the bill. Now, the lady on the first floor, again, until I specifically talk with her next week, the complaints that I'm hearing from the tenant upstairs right now, she had no electricity, no water, no heat for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month. That's not right. And I asked, why is she not calling me direct? Why is she not calling the Board of Health? Well, she gets threatened by the landlord. So in my eyes, the guy's a scumbag. And I've had dealings with him one-on-one, face-to-face, and he'll lie right to your face. I need this addressed. It needs to be taken care of now, not 3 weeks down the road. And when my back gets put up against the wall, I come out fighting, and I'll do what I need to do to make sure that he's taken care of. And if I have to go to KP Law to talk to them directly, I will do that. Because this needs to go. If it's sitting on their desk with other things that are not being addressed, we need to get those addressed. It can't sit there any longer.
You have something? Why, if you condemn it, the town pays to relocate?
Because we're condemning the property, we're responsible for making sure that they have a place to go.
So what was the situation on 24 North where the landlord ended up having to put the people up?
That was a health issue.
Just to help, okay, but, all right.
So we're talking about an illegal an apartment that, well, I can't speak for the first yet, I haven't been down there, but the second floor does not meet habitability requirements as it stands today.
So
the third floor, it shouldn't even be there. There shouldn't nobody be living in there because it is not designed for an apartment.
So even if you got the building and the plumbing inspectors in there, we'd still
Building
have to
inspector
condemn
can
it,
put a
right?
cease and desist and they can have the people taken out of it.
And then he pays, the landlord. Okay.
Because it's an illegal, there was no permits pulled to build that. There's no permits that this guy is doing to fix anything in the house. All right, he pulled one permit that I mentioned the last time because he put in illegal baseboard heating around the apartment. And he finally pulled the permit for the electrical. But all the plumbing related issues, he hasn't done anything, but there's no plumber involved or anything.
So Jim, what's up with our inspectors?
The inspector is on vacation this past 2 weeks. He should be back on
Monday.
So we can get with Bill on Monday.
Yeah, can it like pop to the top of the list?
Sure. I did have a question. I'm assuming because of all these things that have been going on, and these are private apartments, that these people are stopped paying rent, right?
Her rent is an extra. The first floor apartment, I don't know. I haven't got to talk.
Because, there's recourse for these people.
To a limit there is.
Well, through the housing court.
She's got a lawyer. Well, they haven't gone that far.
Well, she should stop paying rent And
She has stopped it.
and eventually, it's gonna go to the housing code.
Right, but there's another issue that she's already taken her landlord to court, and there's a standing order from the court to him to do certain things.
Yeah. Because, and the reason why I'm saying that, it's better if it's handled for the housing court, because then it's less of an impact on the town.
I understand that, but us bringing it to KP Law is the next step for Board of Health. It's legal. I can't go directly to housing court. I have to go through the lawyer.
Right. And you know, I think KP Law had a conversation with you guys, right? Well, I know she did with Jessica and Don a few weeks ago, and I think that, you know.
I asked you where we're sitting with this stuff, and you didn't have an answer.
Well, they made a comment with Don and Jessica. I believe that Jeff Blake had reached out to them.
Nobody seems to be giving me any information right now.
Did you check with Don?
I checked with Dawn. I had a meeting here with him last night, and I was talking about it, and I got nothing. So, like I said, my back is up against the wall right now. The tenants are coming to me. What are we gonna do? What can we do?
It really is an unfortunate situation. It's really sad. You know, you're dealing with, you know, a landlord who is absentee and is not fulfilling their responsibilities. You know, we have to be careful on the fact that, you know, we have to know that there's a line between us getting involved in a landlord-tenant dispute and you know, in code violations. So, you know.
Code violations is specified right under the Board of Health regulations. Okay. And he's supposed to be, we sent a correction order out, he's supposed to follow that within the 30-day period, or whatever timeline we give him.
If you can provide me with all the documentation that you guys have on this, and I can follow up with Jeff. Jeff is out these last 2 weeks on a medical, so I can follow up with Jeff when he gets back, because I know he reached out to the Board of Health.
We've got a backlog of outstanding issues. You know,
I just need to see all the documentation. So if you want to email it to me, you know, I can get that over to Jeff.
Meanwhile, can we get the inspectors to go?
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of the street, 24 Wall Street, I did a final closeout inspection over there a week ago. And the new management company has stepped up to the plate. So the 3 apartments over there that we had in question are now all taken care of. They're all in code. The tenants are all happy with the way things have been fixed. They like the new management company. So that side is okay. We still have the other side now where we have to collect the fines for this period of time to that period of time, and I got Jessica working on what that tally up is going to be. We've already had a first meeting with their lawyer when he came here to this. And we had a meeting, I brought it up to our last board meeting, or on the 12th, and asked, do we want to proceed with collection of the fines? And we all agreed, yeah, we want to proceed with the collection of the fines, because he made a commitment for a 2-week turnaround, and he didn't follow through.
Well, and you don't want it to fall into disrepair and be
Right.
back in the same spot 5 years from now or something.
Right. And I don't think that's going to happen with this new management company, as long as the owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said the same thing, as long as the owner gives me the control that I need to make sure that everything stays the way it is. And he understands also the next building, 18, he's addressing that also. So, but that's where we are with that. So we're on a collection schedule. She's getting everything together for me on that. Once we have that, we'll present it to you guys, and that's going to have to go to law, because he's not going to want to pay that.
Okay, so we're getting the inspectors going over there. You're gonna provide Jim with all the documentation so you can see all that. how can we help more on this?
I need responsive people to respond to me when I say I need a plumber to go here and look at this issue, or I need a building inspector to come over here. I don't expect to get kicked back, well, fill out this form, look up this regulation, look up that regulation, find out this form, and find out that form. That's not my job.
So can we translate that to the building inspector?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna wanna know what you want him to look at, you know?
And that's fine. I mean, I'll tell you what's wrong, what needs to be looked at. Okay? But I'm not gonna go start quoting regulations for him.
But I don't understand what the building commissioner is gonna be looking at.
The building is built to house 2 apartments, not 3.
Okay, so an illegal
So-
apartment?
He's gonna go and check if everything falls under the code. If something is not under the code, he's gonna make his call.
So, we approved, town meeting approved funds for a backup or a whatever building inspector,
Mhm.
right? Have we posted for that, or?
No.
Okay.
Only $1,000. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough to find, I mean, we're gonna try to find somebody. Somebody did make an inquiry, but it was like a 1-sentence inquiry. You know, we'd like to see, get somebody for that, you know.
But I mean, they're not working even part-time, they're just
Yeah.
filling in occasionally, so this might, if we had one at this point,
Yeah,
would have been useful to have, so.
And yeah, I'm trying to help these people out. But when I get put into a corner and I got nowhere to turn, I'm coming out of the corner.
Yeah,
And I'm coming out with my clothes on.
yeah.
So that's where I stand right now.
Okay, so let's try that. Once in a while, the building inspector calls me for a question or not. If we don't see any response, I'll call him personally and ask him to help you out. John, did you have a question?
Yeah, we've had problems with these buildings since I was on the board. And we keep running into the same problem. It's always an out-of-town landlord. They respond, give us their yes statements, and then they go nowhere. Recently, I found out that somebody out of Worcester is buying the triple deckers up past Spencer's garage. So we're gonna have another out-of-town landlord. Well, how long before we have problems up there? You know, I realize people want to invest in buildings. But either you rent one of the apartments to a building manager who's going to be there to take care of the problems, or you as the owner of the building have to ensure that the problem will not happen. Now, I remember when we first started with 24 North Street, and then we got called across the street to 27 North. All right, fine. Well, the problems at 27 North started, what, November last year? When the heat was turned off. I mean, let's face it, there's no excuse for it to still be going on. If I have a problem with my plumbing, it's repaired in a week. Even if I have to borrow money from one of my kids to get a plumber. These absentee landlords do not have an excuse. And it's time to start to crack down on them, every one of them.
You know, just to further a little comment, and I think, Rich, we had talked about this, but, one thing that the town may want to look at doing also is ramping up some of its bylaws, addressing code enforcement issues, potentially looking for, a code enforcement type of mechanism to address these issues. A building commissioner and a zoning officer, the building commissioner can do some of these things, yes. But, you know, if you really, you know, there's a lot of problem properties in town. And, you know, to really get to address some of these hard quality of life issues, you know, at some point, the town may want to look at doing something with a code enforcement or some type of enforcement mechanism, whether it be ramping up bylaws in combating it with a code enforcement officer. You know, that may be something that the town may want to consider.
So is that who would go out and look at these buildings, as a code enforcement officer? So not the building?
I mean, the building commissioner can do it, but, you know, usually they have code enforcement officers.
Okay. I mean, and is that might be a good thing to share, like a regionalized, right? Because you don't need them all the time.
Well, it depends on, you know, how many problems you have.
Well, okay, so maybe initially you need them a lot, right, to sort through. But, yeah.
I just wanted to make it known that, you know, we've got these properties. It's taken me almost 2.5 years just to get 24 straightened out.
Yep.
Okay? And it shouldn't take that long.
Yeah.
When you set out and you send a correction order out, you put a time limit on it, it should be corrected within that time frame.
Have you started finding this landlord yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's a running tab on it.
Okay, good.
But how much of that are we actually going to get? At $300 a day
Yeah.
per unit?
Yeah, I know. Are you charging them for 3 units?
Yeah.
Good.
So, but again, you know, like we've got another one, 200 O'Neill Road.
Yeah.
We've sent sheriff after sheriff after sheriff after sheriff out there, and he doesn't respond to anything. That's another one. That bill is way up over $200,000 right now,
Yeah.
and no response.
Ray?
Hi, Ray Capaco, resident. I just need to, mea culpa from the last meeting. I'll just read a statement here. At the last regular select board meeting, I made an assertion about this board in regards to reorganizing, more particularly not doing so as part of a public meeting. This appeared to be so as the matter was raised by a resident during the May 12, 2022 meeting with a response from the board that, and I quote, "We just decided we weren't going to reorganize the board." After hearing the board members during last meeting insist that they had indeed addressed this issue at their public meetings, I rechecked the records of the meetings and found that it was formally addressed at the June 2, 2022 meeting. So I would like to acknowledge my error and apologize for the incorrect assertion and not thoroughly checking the record.
Oh, no problem, Ray.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
So going back to that, tell me if I'm wrong. If I want to buy a property in town, doesn't, you know, there's a inspection going on through the town, like the building inspection, like the health?
Typically, there's a building inspection that goes on. You're a realtor, and you hire one, and your real estate agent hires an inspector, and you both inspect the properties.
Because that's where you will raise a flag if a building is not properly, like he's concerned.
And a good example of that is Village Market.
Okay. Just so you know, there is a little bit of control, you know, when somebody.
If you pull the records for 27 North, it's going to list 2 family residents. But yeah, there's 3 families living.
Yeah, I get that. That the building inspector should, you know, call that, you know, look at the plan, look at the whatever it is, and say, hey, this is only for 2. You have 3.
And when we pulled the file, there's no permits for adding another additional apartment in there at all.
Yeah. That's not right.
So when a property is conveyed to a different owner, unless there was some type of building permit that was taken out by one of the property owners, the building commissioner does not go out there and do an inspection. It usually what has happened is that an inspector goes out for each of the parties' interests that are, you know, either selling or buying the property.
It's
So,
like when I bought my house up there, I had my own inspector go out and check it out after it was built to make
yeah,
sure.
but it's not the building
Code.
commissioner.
Real estate agent or the bank will have another one come out and do it.
Yeah, but that's to protect their interests.
Protect their interests, right. Okay, now me as the buyer, I'm having my own done too, because I want my interests protected. Even if it was, I bought a 3-story complex in Leominster, Massachusetts. I had a building inspector come out and make sure they went through every square inch of that place, to make sure it was in code. And I bought that from a friend, okay? Because I wanted to make sure that the people I'm putting in there are living in a safe environment.
Generally, a home inspector is not gonna look at code violations either, right? I mean, maybe.
No, but they're gonna give you, the information that will tell you, hey, you got an issue here, you got an issue there, you need to go a little bit further with this. So we're gonna identify certain things that are gonna say, okay, I can look at this, roof line, and I'll tell you right now, you have foundation issues. You need to
Yeah,
get somebody in there.
that kind of, yeah.
Okay. I can tell you by looking at this room over here, or the cracks above the door there, or over there, that you have a faltering support system in that basement of that house. You need to go further, get a building inspector. That's what they're gonna do for you.
Yeah.
Or the typical when somebody buys a property and they want to do an addition to it, and when they come and do the permit, they say, hey, half of your house has no permit.
And now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
My father tried that, right, when we first bought our house in Leominster. He tried that when we were little kids, and he wanted to put on a whole addition in the back, so he got cinder blocks, built his own cinder block wall and everything else. Deputy chief of the fire department lived next door. Saw this thing going up, and he says, "Did you pull a permit for that?" "No, don't need one." Okay, next thing you know, knock, knock, knock on the door is the building inspector. Tear it down. Okay, but they didn't pull a permit.
But the real problem is this person may have bought 27,
Without,
20 years ago.
yeah. without
And it was
whatever.
in great shape. But 20 years of neglect now,
This kid is a young kid. He doesn't know the first thing about anything.
yeah.
Okay? And he'll lie directly right to your face. He called me on the phone, had a conversation with me on the phone, and I set up an appointment with him. And he blew me off 3 times. Fourth time he showed up. Well, I never talked to you on the phone. I says, yeah, you did. I got your phone number right here. Well, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. You know, I mean, that's how most of these guys are like that. They'll lie right to you.
New generation.
All right, well, I think we have like a roadmap, at least for the moment, right? We need to get the inspectors there
Yeah.
next week. So if you can persuade them to. Yeah.
Any other comments or concerns? Jimmy?
So, going back a little bit about the bi-weekly pay, got a couple of questions. I'm just presenting this tonight.
Thank you.
So, this notice came out about bi-weekly.
Yep.
At first, I was a little upset about it. I've worked in this town for over 24 years part-time, recently got full-time. And it was always good to get weekly pay. It always fit my lifestyle with other jobs, other companies. They paid. But Warren always paid weekly. So I got a few questions. You can get answers or through a couple months or whatever, coming weeks. What made the decision to go bi-weekly? What savings is the town going to get? How much would the town be saving? Is the department going to get any savings? Would they be more taxes taken out, or people be put in different tax brackets, or more deductions because of everyone getting bigger check sums and stuff? Would they be a different, more taxes? Other thing is, some employees work and get a lot of overtime certain times a year. Could that be put in a different check? And then a better presentation of pros and cons to all employees, so everyone understands everything a little better. And lastly, is there any way it could be just kept the same? If those things could be looked at, it'd be appreciated. Get some answers in time.
Tim, you wanna take?
Doesn't have to be
I can
tonight.
answer them if you'd like.
Doesn't have to be tonight, doesn't.
Do it quick. I think they're somewhat easy to answer.
Okay.
If you could,
So the decision came about through a financial management review that was done by the Department of Revenue last year. And one of the recommendations within that review was to go to a bi-weekly payroll. And it was talked about at a couple different meetings of the Board of Selectmen, as well as with department heads at department head meetings. And, you know, the reason why the push was to go to bi-weekly was because there is a savings involved with the town. The town has, I think it was about $5,000 to $7,000. No, I'm sorry, $3,000 to $5,000 worth of savings. At minimal per year. Yeah, yeah,
Only per year?
yeah, per year. And what the town would also be reeling in is, you know, we're a very small community, as you know, and staff is every week producing payroll, So if it gives an opportunity for a couple of departments to free up and to do some additional work on some other areas that need to be worked on, then I think it is a, you know, that's a savings within itself, is time. In terms of taxes being taken out, it's just, you're paying the same taxes. You're not going to be penalized. If you made $40,000, you're still going to be taxed on $40,000. Could overtime be taken out into a different check? I'd have to look into that. I will look into that. I don't know if that's currently being done. I'd have to look into that. I don't know if that answers your questions.
Yeah, well, the last one is, could they be a better presentation for more of the town employees? I know it must have went through the department heads and stuff as a
Right.
good presentation, but it didn't seem like it got down to the actual employees.
Okay, so the department head didn't share it with you?
Well, I'm just hearing about it from the letter we got.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I guess on, I believe on a meeting of May 23rd, it was adopted by Selectmen, but there was really no dialogue with it. It was just kind of accepted, it seemed, at that meeting. There was other talks or other meetings.
John, you have a comment?
If I could address that, since at one time I was paid every 2 weeks. So on your check stub, it would list your base 40-hour pay for each of the 2 weeks. Overtime would be a separate line item, right? Because it wouldn't be figured into your regular base pay, so it would be a separate line item. And then the way taxes work, after everything was totaled up and you got a pays whole pay, that's where they started to take out the taxes on the entire amount. It's not going to be a big jump in increase in what you're going to pay in, plus the fact that at the end of the year, you'll probably get most of it back anyway.
The way I can see and I can explain it is, if I give my kids every Sunday $5, and every Saturday night I'm like, I have to go to the ATM to get the $10 for my kids because I have 2 kids. You know, every Saturday I go to the ATM to get the $5. And then I said, it's too much work. Hey guys, I'm gonna give you every 2 weeks, I'm gonna give you $10. And then I save 2 trips to the ATM. That's basically the difference. Where you're getting, nothing is changing besides that.
Just waiting longer.
But you have twice as much when you get it.
Yeah.
Or if you look at it another way, I'm retired, I get 1 check a month.
No.
Well, I understand his point, being also an employee that's gotten paid. The way you arrange your bills comes out weekly, and you don't have to go, oh, I need to make sure I save X amount of dollars because I'm not getting paid this week. And so it's going to take some time, and this is why you gave us the 90 days, so that we can rearrange when our bills are paid.
Yeah, you have to do a little bit with your own personal budgeting.
And you have to also not realize, oh, look, I got all this extra money.
Yeah.
No, you don't, because
Yeah.
you got a car payment coming up
Right.
without a paycheck coming next to it. So I understand where you're coming from, Jim, and I understand that it is going to take some finessing to make sure that you keep the money that you need to pay the bill on the weeks that you don't get paid. But I understand why the town is doing it, because Dawn and Jackie spend all day Monday and Tuesday doing payroll. And now they have to do that every other week, not every week.
Yeah, it's a big job.
It is a big job.
So I agree, that this was
So
something.
How many hours do they spend between 2? Could you get that figure to me?
Well, the accountant is all day Monday. That's pretty much, 7 out of the 8 hours is spent on payroll. And then I don't know what Dawn spends.
Dawn probably spends at least 6 hours on Tuesday doing it. I mean, I know not to go near her office on Tuesday.
So, it's gonna be an adjustment. It's not easy. It's gonna take some time to get used of. But a lot of businesses and a lot of communities, municipalities are moving in this direction.
And also, every Wednesday night, the select board have to stop in their day and come in and sign the warrants. Because if they don't sign the payroll warrants, you don't get a paycheck. So it's also taking time out of their lives to come in.
I didn't know that. I like coming here and sign it. But yeah, guys, you have to come and sign this before 8 o'clock in the morning.
I understand the design, that's what it's about.
Jimmy, I'm trying to be on your shoes. And I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to see if this was something really detrimental that will, screw you up. I will have been the first one to say, no, we're not doing this.
It just takes some time to get used to.
We can still put a presentation if you like, and have it show you numbers or hours or something.
Yeah, if you could do a better presentation of town employees, this would be looking at that. Notify more of the people.
We'll do that, visually, so everybody can see it, and it will be just part of the, for everyone.
Sure.
Are we halfway good today?
Oh, the grass might have to go bi-weekly now, though, too.
Yeah, that gives you one more extra day or one more extra week to do something else.
Maybe the trash. Put that on bi-weekly too.
Yeah, then you have more time to do something else. Okay, I had something else, any comments and concerns? While we were talking about employment, I had this message that says, are there the jobs opening at the town hall? I can't seem to navigate the website to put in an application somewhere.
So all the person has to do is email their resume and cover letter to the email address associated with whatever posting they're applying for.
Okay.
So all you do is just click on, and it brings up the email, and you just attach your.
Okay, I'll look into that. Any other concerns? Yes, sir.
I already said my name. I wrote it down. Hey, is there any word on the mill? Is it sold?
No word.
No word
Nope.
on the mill?
No sales this week.
Okay. So I want to comment on two things. Micromanagement and poop decorator. I'm going to start with poop decorator.
P-O-O-P?
P-O-O-P decorator. We have a poop decorator in town.
Oh, I get it.
First one around, yes. So I have a lead on a name for you guys on that one if you're interested. I'll leave it at that for now.
That should probably go to the police,
Yeah, so on the,
right?
on the
I don't know.
micromanagement.
I don't know
Hold
what
on,
he's-
Tim.
I don't know
Not
what he's
cleaning up
looking for.
after your dog, in the- like on the common or any other parks. That would go to the police, right?
Well, under the bridge, I think was the issue, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter
They
where
drop.
it is.
Well,
Oh,
they were
yeah.
dropping their bags
Oh, the poop, yeah.
underneath
Poop
the
decorator,
bridge.
yes.
I would say it's the police, right?
I guess,
So-
improper disposal of trash or something?
Yeah, right?
Well, in New York City, they do DNA tests. If you have a dog, you have to register it. And if you don't pick up your poop,
Oh.
DNA, you pay the fine and the test. Anyway, I don't want to be too long here. So micromanagement, are we ready? So I went to the voluntary committee thing, that meeting we went, once a month, CMS, what is that?
Master plan,
Yeah,
CMRPC.
master plan. Okay. So it was a very good meeting, and in that meeting, I learned, because Sampson was there and a whole bunch of people, and they asked what the town wanted. And what I got out of that meeting was, from the people that spoke, the town wants somebody to come in, buy the building, and, fix it up or whatever, but they want to micromanage the guy that buys the building and his money. The town people that spoke, they want this, but they don't want that, they want a little bit of this, but not too much of that, okay? That's the impression I got. Now, there may be a person out there that's gonna do that, I don't know. Okay, and then,
Well, wait,
yeah,
so
yeah.
those were like wish list items.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I mean, somebody could buy it and just burn it to the ground, or they could buy it and put up,
But this is what they,
you know what
this
I
is
mean?
what
Like,
they stated though, Rich.
well, right, but
Yeah.
that's wish list. What would we, so, again, it's a master plan, so we're trying to think about what do we want the town to be like in 20 years?
Right, I understand that.
So we'd like to see these things over there, but we ultimately have no control. But, we can still wish
Yeah,
and maybe persuade people, but there's,
well, again,
you
there
know.
may be a person out there that fits that, he's gonna get tax breaks, I mean, I don't know, it may be, may not be.
So let's say somebody approaches the town and say, I want to buy this, and I really want to make X, Y, and Z. And then we look at the master plan, in the master plan, everybody wanted to have X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You'll say, this is a good project. That's what
right,
it is.
so we would fully support you in your project to put in X, Y, and Z.
Right, all I'm
because-
saying is, from what I got from the meeting, they want someone to buy the building, have some money to fix it, but the town wants to put a lot of input in. That's the impression I got. They stated that, and like you said, it may happen, that's fine, but I'm highly doubtful, Okay? All right, and then the next good thing that happened is I went to that little get-together they had at the senior center, where they had all the presentations. And there was some fantastic conversations going on. Oh my Lord. However, so I listened to like 5 people that were talking, and these 5 people are regular people that go vote every year, in the town. And I'm gonna tell you, I never heard so much horse poo-poo as I did in the conversations that I heard. These people that go there to town meetings and vote were praising people in position that should have been out of that position years ago, and people that were doing a great job today were getting criticized. I mean, it was just total BS, in my opinion, okay? So, the next thing, a week or 2 after that, I didn't come to the meeting, I'm watching the replay, and the board gets micromanaged. And the board spoke and said that if any of the 2 selectmen were not happy with the situation, they could realign the board. That was one option. But it wasn't mentioned that if anybody, any resident, wants to change the board, they could simply put their name in and run. But that doesn't seem to happen.
I've done that 3 times.
Yeah, so now we gotta micromanage the board as well, okay? And honestly, I think these 3 guys up here have done a fantastic job, and I think it's very disrespectful to do what they did. And I'm not picking on any one person. In general, as hard as these guys have worked for this town, that was a slap in the face. Okay, and then the last thing I want to say, I've heard in this room that we want to move the town forward many times. But every year it's about 150 people that decide what goes on in this town, okay? And these people, and there's nothing wrong with this, they don't want to change too many things in this town. They would like for it to stay the way it is. And you know what? That's their choice. They have that option. It's not right or wrong. But there are people in town that would like to see some changes and move the town forward. And that's their choice. It's not right or wrong. But the only way it's going to happen is if you match the number of people in the meeting and meet them, so you can decide on what should get passed and what changes to be made. I've come to the conclusion that nothing in this room is going to happen. Nothing happened in this room. I mean, little things happen, don't get me wrong. But that's the big time, the big place to get it done. And if the people won't go, just like here, there's nobody in this room. This is ridiculous. And you get the same 150 people that go to the town meeting every year, and look around in the town, look where it's at, It's not working. But the only way I think that it's ever going to change is this board has to get people to show up and vote, outvote the other guys. I don't know how else to say it. And that's it.
I've talked to people who said, yes, I'm going to the town meeting, and then they don't show up.
I know.
So,
I know.
and I guess I realized, we're sort of advisors, right? The budget, we put together the budget, and the finance people put together, FinCom puts together a budget, and it's all a suggestion, right? That whole warrant is a suggestion, and it's up to the town to say yay or nay on every article. And yeah, if people don't show up, then how do you complain? I mean, this is the only time you can really directly affect anything. you know, you could call Elizabeth Warren, but the chances of you actually getting anything done, personally, me, say, in Washington, or even at the state level, are next to nothing. But in this town, right, you can actually get stuff done, you know, by participating. You can, though. If you don't like the...
Maybe little things. But here's how you can get things done better. I've heard it, I've seen it over the years. This town does not work together within itself. Okay? And there are people that are in positions that don't know that there are many things happening daily that shouldn't happen. Okay? And like I said, they criticize people when the people do the right thing. Okay? But it's not only this town. I'll give you a quick example and I'm going to shut up. Next town over in Ware, the selectman, and he was chair at the time, took the fire chief to court for allegedly misappropriate, whatever it was. Anyway, 6 months through that, a little bit longer, in the comments and concern, and he was up for re-election, he stated that he got threats, harassed his family, you know, a whole bunch of stuff for doing the right thing. People in town said that he should have left it alone, right? I mean, so it's not just this town that has problems, obviously. But together, if everybody works together in any town, as well as this town, and knows what's going around in their own backyard, I would think, you know, things would get better a lot quicker. But everybody seems to have their own agenda, and that's all they care about. And you're never going to go forward like that.
Good?
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I couldn't hold it back anymore.
That's great. Thank you for staying with us all night.
Oh, our next meeting isn't July 11th.
July, well,
No, it's not. It's the...
It says 25th, but I'm actually not here on the 25th.
Okay.
So our next meeting would be August
8th?
1st.
First.
Almost. So next meeting is August 8th?
You'll miss August 1st?
I mean August 8th?
You're the chair. If you want to do it on the 8th, you can do.
Is David going to be back by August 1st?
I don't know.
I don't know. So then if
Why don't
you're
we
gone...
pencil down August 1st, you know,
Okay.
and see what happens, and we'll announce it with plenty of time. And the very, very well and last motion,
Is a motion to adjourn?
I second that. All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved. Thank you very much.